Hi everyone, happy Mindful Monday. Something that I've been noticing lately is that as social media continues to become a very take up a really large portion of how we communicate to one another, essentially, and how we are connected with one another, what starts to happen is that we start to feel like a global village. So we feel closer to one another, and we're certainly connecting with people all over the world. But what can also happen is that we begin to believe that we know the person that we're following, or the person, well, essentially the person that we're following. Because if we're having conversations, we have a better glimpse into the person's life because it's more personal. But when we are following somebody's Instagram or Facebook or whatever else is out there, Twitter and other platforms, you know what I mean. The point is that we begin to believe that we truly understand somebody when all we're really seeing is pictures of their highs, possibly their lows if they're vulnerable or if they're the sort that might share it. And we develop like an idea of what the person is like or what we think that they're like. And so the thing that concerns me about this is, firstly, it's twofold really, because one, judgments can form regarding people just because of what they're posting. So we may think that that friend of ours that is a leader, who their role is to lead, their career choices to lead. Maybe they're a CEO or a director. Perhaps they are in ministry and they're a pastor, or some kind of speaker, life coach, or maybe they're entrepreneurs and they're in business, and or they're doing some kind of marketing, whatever it may be. um, maybe they're just advocates, and their personal profiles are dedicated towards a specific cause, a specific something that's personal to them, whatever it may be. And I'm taking the time to highlight them all because I want to sort of break this stigma, this idea out there that just because somebody is showing up on social media, we think that we know them, and that and we pass judgments on their lives based on what the limited things that we see about their lives. And now, by all means, where I'm saying you're going to choose who you're going to follow and not follow. And obviously, if you're following certain people, something about them intrigues you, right? You're interested in some aspect of their life. But what I'm saying is that they are people too. They are people too, which means that just because they are in particular positions, leaders, entrepreneurs, coaches, speaking on whatever platforms, that does not take away from the fact that they wear other hats in their lives. Okay? So if they're wearing other hats, they might be a father, mother, brother, sister, wife, child. They're wearing very many hats in their lives, and these are just the family oriented ones. What about the other ones that they wear? Caretaker, caregiver, lots of different things, right? Guardian. So I want to urge all of us out there that, firstly, if you are looking at somebody's life and thinking that just because they look like they've got everything together, and you're using this as a ruler to measure your own life, and you're being down on yourself because you're measuring it against your ruler against theirs, it is a false, you're gonna get a false report every single time. And the reason for this is because you don't really know them. You don't know their full life. You don't know, when the camera goes off, if they struggle with depression, if they struggle with other mental health issues, if they're struggling financially, if they're struggling in their business, if they're struggling in their marriage. You really just don't really know their life unless they're open and vulnerable about it. So that's really something that I want to put out there, because a lot of people are struggling with depression simply because of comparison to, and they're comparing apples and oranges, and you really don't even realize that you're comparing to oranges. And it's not fair to you. It's not fair to the other person either. So the second thing that happens is that we think that we know the other person, and so we believe that everything is okay in their lives, and we forget their humanity. We forget that they need a friend too. We forget that they need encouragement as well. We forget that how much it takes for them to get up and do their business and take that bold step of faith, and be courageous about getting out there. They may not feel like it that day. They may not feel like leading that day. They might have lost a loved one yesterday. Um, they might have had a really difficult week, and if we're not careful, we forget their humanity. And I have seen comments upon comments, or sometimes people are not commenting and commenting in the background, forming judgments amongst themselves. That so and so is like this, or doesn't care, or is shallow, or how dare they, or whatever it is. And we forget, or they're okay, they don't need my help, they seem fine, I saw them on social media and they look good, they look happy. Listen, if you have a friend who's out there that looks okay, that doesn't mean that you should not be checking in on them. In fact, you probably need to check on them even more, because a lot of times the people who look stronger are the ones who are fighting the hardest. A lot of times they're the ones, they just need a hello, they need a genuine how are you. Like these days, people barely even ask that question, how are you really, and listen to what the person really has to say. So this is something that I feel really passionate about, because I've been noticing this happening more and more. And people have a persona. If they are actors, if they are in media or something like that, they may not ever get to know anybody else. And so I look at these tabloids and these magazines, and you see all of this news and the paparazzi following these musicians and these actors and actresses. And my heart breaks for them, because they, first of all, they have no privacy, and second of all, I don't know if anyone really knows who they are. They're surrounded by people all the time and pressures to perform. And if you're one of those people, whether you're large scale Hollywood, or whether you're on social media and that's your platform and everybody knows you and you're known as a specific way, you might feel trapped that no one really takes the time to get to know you outside of that. Would they really care for you? Would they really love you? Would they accept you for who you really are? I just urge you, to reach out to somebody who really cares. And if you need help, if you feel like you are that person that I'm describing, please reach out to me. Like, I will share an encouraging word with you. I don't mind encouraging you and saying something positive about your life. If you need a counselor, someone who you can talk to where it's a safe place, please reach out to me. If you have friends that are what I'm describing, please reach out to them. Ask them how they're doing. They might be going through something very difficult. Sometimes they might open up and share what they're going through. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it passes and we might comment in the moment, and then the next week we don't remember. Happens over and over again. Tragedies hit countries. Everybody responds and reacts for like 2 days, and then the next week people forget about it and move on to the newest thing. So be caring, be kind. Think the best about one another. How you treat others is a reflection of what you feel about yourself. And if you feel that you're not healthy and you're not able to think positive about other people, then maybe it's time that we look inside and do some work on ourselves. Sorry that this is a longer with video today, but I'm a little bit passionate about this because I've been noticing it, and it can be dangerous. So I want to put that out there. Love people, guys. And again, if you need any help and you're looking for a safe place, please reach out to me and feel free to ask questions anytime. Have a great week.